Thank you very much. I know that everybody's thinking about jobs. And one of the things that America has more than any other place in the world is ingenuity and creativeness. And having the opportunity to come with Nancy to Microsoft is an opportunity to show her the epitome of creativity in terms of what the future really means for all of us, whether we're talking about energy conservation or whether we're talking about medicine or healthcare or a whole variety of things. Nancy and I came into Congress together. She's obviously more skilled than I am and was able to move to the top. You may think of her as a woman who represents California and Silicon Valley and so forth, but I always think of Nancy as also having the skills of having been the Baltimore mayor's daughter. She knows how not only to see a good idea, but how to make it happen. So it's a great pleasure to present Nancy Pelosi.
Thank you very much, Mary. Thank you for your hospitality and your leadership and for making us all so proud in the capacity in which you serve. We're all very pleased to see women in the sciences and in business succeed for themselves, but also as a model to other young women. I'm honored to be here with my colleague Jim McDermott. It's wonderful to be back at Microsoft. I've been here a number of times before. In fact, I even visited the home of the future before, and it's even more futuristic and visionary this time. The fact that some of it interacts with when I saw the Home for the Future before, we were putting together our innovation agenda. It was our initiative to keep America #1, for us to be competitive in the world, to think in fresh, new, different ways about where technology could take us. And what I saw here in previous visits and on that visit to the Home for the Future is that it was very important to recognize that innovation begins in the classroom and that we had to invest in the education of our young people. We talked about that with Fred Stephanie today, and as Flora took us through her Home for the Future, and we talked about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, how it's important for not only young boys but young girls and the beautiful diversity of our country to have access to that education, which was essential to our innovation, which is essential to keeping us #1. So I'm here to say thank you to Microsoft and to the state of Washington for what you have done for our economy, for our balance of payments in the trade situation, and for really giving us the gift of time. All of the things that we saw here today were about how we can have a better use of time, a better use of energy, as Congressman McDermott said. Some of the issues that we saw here were a manifestation of what we put into the Recovery Act a year and a half ago when we passed it. One in particular, the Health IT, the electronic medical records for all Americans. Well, the Health Vault that I saw in the kitchen is something that is so remarkable. It makes America healthier. It does so in a way that gives confidence to people about their course of action and, of course, saves money at the same time. So again, as to get back to Jim's first word, jobs, thank you, Microsoft, for being the job creator that you are. I understand from Flora that you have 700,000 partners. More than 700,000 partners in putting this together, so it's not just what is happening here, but what these partnerships mean for our economy. It's pretty exciting because what we're about is policy. What we want to do is take our country forward in a way that keeps us #1. We're inspired by President Kennedy when he talked about sending a man I think he said at the time, man to the moon and back safely within 10 years, did it in 8. He said if we're to honor the vows of our founders, we must be first, and therefore we intend to be first, and first we were, but we must continue to be #1. So I thank Microsoft for the lead that they have taken in keeping us #1. I thank them for the hospitality here to see what's happening in the vision of the Home for the Future, but also for the many visits that we received. Fred orchestrated many visits from Mr. Gates, Mr. Ballmer, others from Microsoft to share the vision and again keep us #1. It's pretty thrilling. It's pretty thrilling because it's so very, very inspiring. And I thank you once again for what you are doing, for your hospitality today. And I'm glad that my daughter Nancy is with me because she's going to tell her children about this when she goes home. And of course, they're all way ahead of us on how to be to make use of all of this. But thank you for making better use of our time for all of the American people, for everyone who uses these. We'll have some issues like privacy on the cloud, in the cloud, those kinds of issues that we'll have to deal with. And so today was very instructive in terms of what the breadth of those possibilities are. So I thank you again for sharing that with us, and yield back to Mr. McDermott, and to Mary, and to anyone else who is going to be speaking later.